Hello friends, welcome to Clarity with K. This video is for my non-Telugu speaking friends. So if you have already watched my Telugu version, you don't have to watch this. The question many people are asking these days is whether they should buy a house or rent it. The main reason is because as everybody know, the mortgage rates in the US have increased a lot. So we'll talk about it today. But before that, my friends, just a request. So I started this channel 40 days back out of passion to share my experiences and what I learned during my 25 years in the US. And many people watched my videos, and I got more than 110K views. But the number of subscribers are very less, so I request you to join my club and encourage me. Okay, thank you. So let's get to it. People think that renting is like putting money in the homeowner's pocket, whereas they can use the same money to buy a house and pay towards the mortgage. So that is a general perception. Nothing wrong in it, but that's not entirely true. When you bought a house, there is something called cost of ownership. So same way the rent will not come back into your pocket, the cost of ownership also will not come back into your pocket. So it is very important to understand what the cost of ownership is. In simple math, if the rent is more than your cost of ownership, then you should buy house, very simply. The cost of ownership has three components. One, property tax, and the second one is the maintenance fee, and the third one is the cost of mortgage. The cost of mortgage has two subcomponents. One is the opportunity cost and the other one is the cost of debt. We'll go into each one of these with an example so you'll understand very clearly, and then we will conclude whether you should buy or not. Please watch it till the end, because more than the simple math, there are also other things that you need to consider, especially if you are an immigrant from India. Let us take an example. Let us say you are renting a house for $2,500 per month. So the total yearly rent is like $30,000, and which you will never get back. On the other side, let us take, for example, you are planning to buy a $500,000 home. On this home, let's calculate the cost of ownership. The average property taxes across the US is 1 to 1.1%. This property tax will change from state to state, and even within a state from community to community also. So that's why it is important for you to consider your local property tax. But for this example, I'm taking an average across the US. So I'm taking 1% as the property tax. For a $500,000 home, the property tax that you are going to pay per annum is $5,000. And also the experts say that you need to keep at least 1 to 2% aside for yearly maintenance. And if your home is older, the amount that you need to keep aside is probably more. Okay. But for today's calculation, I'm going to take the lower limit, 1%. So for a $500,000 home, the maintenance fee is $5,000. So both these put together is $10,000 so far. So this money is not going to come back to you. Okay. Now look at the third component, the cost of mortgage. If it is a $500,000 home, you will down pay 20%, which is 100K, and then you are taking loan for $400,000. Now, because you are locking your down payment in the house, it's very important for you to know what is the opportunity cost of locking this capital. For example, if this 100K, had you put it in stock market, how much you would have gained versus how much appreciation in the home, and you compare both of them to decide what is the opportunity cost. For that, we need to look at S&P 500 returns over the last 30 years. So over the last 30 years, the S&P 500 return after adjusting for inflation is around 7 plus percent. For simple math, I'm going to take, it is more than 7%, but for simple math, I'm going to take 7%. And at the same time, if you really look at the home appreciation over the last 30 years, adjusted for inflation, is 2 to 3%. Okay, so some people may say, hey, my home appreciated more, in my state it increased this much, that much, and all. So I can also tell you that my home that I'm currently living in, I bought in 2011, and it also appreciated, it doubled actually. I got like 100% return. But if I calculate year on year appreciation and adjust that amount for inflation, it is actually 2.2%. So as per the historical data, the home appreciation on an average is 2 to 3%. So for today's calculation, I'm taking 2.5% as the appreciation value. Now, if you had you put this 100K in the stock market, you would have received $7,000 per annum, and whereas the house appreciation is only $2,500. That means you are losing 4,500 per annum. So that is your opportunity cost. Okay. Now let us look at the cost of debt. You took 400K loan. If you take a look at 30 years mortgage interest, it is from 6.7% to 7%. For a simple math, I'm taking 7%. My friends, I'm taking these examples, but you need to change this math as per your local conditions. Okay. For example, if you are taking 10-year loan, it may be less. A 15-year loan, it may be less. If you are using ARM, it may be less. So it is very important for you to change the math as per your conditions. But for today's calculation, I'm taking like 30-year loan, and it is ranging from 6.7 to 7. So I'm taking 7%. On 7% interest rate, you are paying interest of $2,800 per month. So I'm going to show you the total value of it per annum. Now, if you put all of these together, now you will arrive at the cost of ownership, which I'm going to show you on the screen. Once you have this value, now compare this value with your cost of rent. As you can see, in the current market conditions where the mortgage rates increased, as you can see, the renting a house looks like a more cheaper option than buying a home because the cost of ownership is way higher. But is it all? Can you simply go by this math? Even though this is the formula, this is the math you need to use, there are some flaws in this formula. One is it is assuming the rent is constant. It is possible that your homeowner may increase the rent, so that may change the math. The second one is it is also assuming you will continue to pay $2,800 of interest forever, right? Which is not the case. As per the amortization schedule, uh, for the first 18 years, interest you are paying is generally more than the amount that goes towards your principal. But over a long period of time, the interest you are paying on your loan will go down, and then your principal will continue to go up. So that will build equity into your home. And also, like I said, if had you put 100K in a stock market, you would have received more. But how many people are really going to invest in the stock market and would receive that 7% return, right? So some people might not do it. So there are a lot of factors for you to consider. So given that the formula has some flaws, under what conditions you should buy? Definitely calculate the cost of home ownership and then compare it with rent. So that is a given. After that, look at few other things like how stable is your job and how long you are going to stay. If you are going to stay in the same house and in the same city for a very long time, definitely buying a home is a good option because over a period of time you will build a lot of capital, and that definitely helps you. And if you still have good liquidity, is really a good option. And if you have a stable immigration status, and yes, that helps you stay in the house longer, definitely go ahead and buy. If you don't meet any of these conditions, and also the math is also telling you the cost of ownership is higher than the rent, I don't think buying a house is a very good option. And in addition to that, my friends, please do not buy because your friend bought it or because of peer pressure. Okay, so there was, I will tell you that there was a lot of peer pressure during COVID time or after COVID time, and people bought like crazy, especially in cities like Austin and Dallas, and probably it happened other places, but I can give quote examples from Texas. We never had bidding wars. We always had negotiation. If a builder gives a price, we always negotiated it down, but people just escalated the prices ridiculously. Now what happened? The prices fell. Plus, I'm almost certain that the prices will stay like this for a while. But in the meantime, you are stuck. You bought at a very high price, and your capital is locked, and yeah, you are stuck for a very long time. So don't do that, my friends. Okay. Friends, hopefully that gave you some idea on the cost of ownership and other factors that you should consider to buy a house. Now, please feel free to share your comments and your feedback too. Thank you so much.